When you think of the word manipulation, your mind probably jumps to the big stuff, right? The yelling, the obvious lies, the really aggressive gaslighting. But honestly, the most powerful, most effective manipulation, it doesn't work like that. It's quiet, it's subtle, and it happens in the shadows of our everyday conversations. So let's turn on the lights.
And that right there, that's the whole game. The real goal isn't to beat you in an argument. No, it's to make you question everything. Your own gut feelings, your memories, even your own sanity. That self-doubt, that's where they find their power.
So for this explainer, we're going to look past the shouting matches and the blatant lies. We're diving into the much craftier stuff, the subtle redirection, the quiet isolation, the power of strategic silence. These are the tactics that don't scream at you, they whisper.
Okay, so our first category of tactics is all about one thing and one thing only, controlling the story. A master manipulator gets that if they can control the narrative of a conversation, they've already won before it's even over. Let's take a look at how they pull it off.
This one is it's so incredibly slick because on the surface, it looks and sounds like a normal conversation. But it's not. It's a monologue disguised as a dialogue. You walk in thinking you're going to discuss a problem, but before you know it, you're just reacting, trying to keep up while they steer the entire thing. They've taken complete ownership of the conversation.
And boom, just like that, the spotlight is completely flipped around. Did you notice what happened? They never actually answered the question. They didn't lie. They just took the focus off of their action, not showing up, and put it right onto your attitude. So now you're the one on the back foot, defending why you even asked in the first place.
The whole point of this tactic is just to wear you down. It's pure exhaustion. By constantly, deliberately twisting your words into the worst possible meaning, they force you to spend all of your emotional energy just clarifying and repeating, no, that's not what I meant. And guess what? The real issue, it never even gets talked about. See how that works? It's textbook. You make a completely reasonable, healthy request for a little bit of personal space, and it's immediately twisted into this huge, dramatic accusation of abandonment. They've painted you as the villain for just having a basic human need. And now you have to either backtrack on your need or get sucked into a fight that has nothing to do with what you originally said. Oh, the psychology behind this is fascinating and kind of sneaky. This whole tactic is built to make you feel like you've won a compromise. You feel like you stood your ground and got them to be reasonable. But you didn't. You've just been skillfully guided to the exact place they wanted you to land from the very beginning. Let's break down how this magic trick works. First, they hit you with an offer that is so ridiculous, so over the top, that you have no choice but to say no. That's called the anchor. So now, when they come back with what they actually wanted all along, your brain doesn't compare it to what's objectively fair. Nope. It compares it to that first insane request, and suddenly it seems totally reasonable. It's a classic setup. Now this one can be really tough to spot because it wraps itself up in what looks like intimacy and trust. Someone shares something that sounds deeply personal, a story about a past trauma, a fear, a weakness. And our natural human reaction is to soften up, to feel empathy, to lower our guard. But for a manipulator, it's not a moment of connection. It's a calculated move. And you have to get this part. This is the absolute key. Genuine vulnerability is what builds real connection between people. But strategic vulnerability, that's about gaining leverage. They use that empathy you just offered them as a tool to ask for something, to guilt you into a decision, or to make you excuse their own bad behavior. That shared emotion, it's just a means to an end. All right, let's shift gears to our next group of tactics. And I've got to say, these might be the most insidious of all. Because they're not just designed to control a situation, they're designed to make you question the very foundation of who you are. Your thoughts, your feelings, your reality. It always starts so small, doesn't it? You bring up something that genuinely hurt your feelings, and this is what you get back. Just one little phrase perfectly designed to invalidate you and shut the conversation down. Then, maybe it happens again a week or two later. Same situation, different day. And there it is again. The same 4 words. The same dismissal of your feelings. You hear it enough times, and this little seed of doubt starts to grow. Maybe you stop bringing things up. Maybe you start to wonder if they're right. And that, right there, is the goal. So what you just experienced, that feeling of repetition grinding you down, well, it has a name. It's called the illusion of truth effect. See, our brains have this weird shortcut where we mistake familiarity for truth. So a manipulator exploits this by repeating a false narrative or a criticism over and over and over again until it starts to feel true. It's a way of bypassing your critical thinking and planting their lie directly into your belief system.
This is a classic high school move that, sadly, a lot of adults still use. It's all about making you feel outnumbered and crazy. By bringing in some outside opinion, and it doesn't even matter if it's real or totally made up, the manipulator instantly creates an us versus you dynamic. All of a sudden, it's not just their opinion against yours, it's them and the world against you. I mean, what a simple sentence, right? But it is so devastatingly effective. Because now you're not just having a disagreement with the person standing in front of you. Now you're apparently in the wrong, according to Sarah, too. It makes you immediately second-guess yourself. Wait, am I the only one who sees it this way? Am I the one who's crazy? The whole process is precision-engineered to make you feel totally alone. By manufacturing this imaginary consensus that's against you, they make their point of view seem like the normal, reasonable one, and your perspective seems like some kind of wild, extreme outlier.
Silence. It might be the most powerful and underrated weapon in the entire arsenal. When someone just completely shuts down and withdraws all emotion, they create this emotional vacuum. You can't argue with it. You can't debate it. There's just nothing. And that nothingness becomes the loudest thing in the room, screaming inside your own head.
And please, never ever mistake this for someone just needing a little space to cool off. This is an active, aggressive tactic. That unbearable tension is designed to do one thing: make you break. You end up arguing with yourself, going over everything you could have done wrong, and more often than not, you're the one who breaks the silence and apologizes just to make it stop. They win the fight without ever saying another word.
So we've broken down 7 really distinct, subtle tactics, everything from controlling the story to planting deep-seated doubt. But now, let's zoom out, let's look at the common threads so you can learn to recognize the game itself. These right here, these are the red flags. It almost doesn't matter what specific tactic they're using. These are the results. If you consistently walk away from conversations feeling confused, questioning your own mind, feeling alone, or realizing the blame has somehow landed on your shoulders again, you're probably in the game. And just being aware of these patterns, that is the biggest, most powerful first step you can take. And really, that's what this all comes down to. Recognizing these games isn't about pointing fingers or placing blame. It's about reclaiming your own power. Because once you can see the moves, once you can see the board for what it is, you're no longer just a piece being moved around. You get to decide if you even want to play at all.